In this lesson, we're going to follow up on what we did last week with the basic robot move with a simple block. If you remember, we talked about wheels a little bit and how much the robot moved every time we turned a wheel. And that's based on diameter circumference, like in this picture. The circumference is equal to the diameter times pi. So if we measure the wheel diameter, we can find out how far the wheel travels in one rotation. So what we'd like to figure out is how many degrees are in 1 inch of wheel travel. So we know there's 360 degrees in one rotation, and the distance the wheel travels is their circumference. So if we divide 360 degrees by the diameter times pi, we'll get the degrees per inch. So how do we use this? So what we want to figure is how many degrees the motor needs to turn to go a given distance. So we take that distance, we multiply it times 360, and divide it by the diameter times pi, which is equivalent to the equation on the bottom of the page, which is just distance times 360 divided by diameter divided by pi. So let's go back to the Mindstorm's programming panel. So we could do this. We know how to move using a move steering block. So we could calculate, we can set it up to go for some number of degrees, use a calculator to figure out the right number of degrees to go for our distance we want to travel based on the equation I just showed you, or we could have the robot do it for us. We can use a math block. So we'll grab a math block and put it in front of our move block. There we go. And in the math block, we can add or subtract, divide or multiply, do absolute values, square root, exponentiation, and we can do advanced, which we're going to do here. The advanced lets you put an arbitrary equation using up to 4 parameters into your math block. So what we'd like to do is say that a equals the distance, so it's a times b is the 360 divided by c, which is our wheel diameter, divided by pi, which is d. So let's put in, let's say we want to travel 10 inches, and b is 360 degrees. Let's say our wheel diameter is 1.6 for this case. You'll have to measure your wheel to see what it really is. And we know that pi is approximately 3.1415. Let's say that for now. And then we can take the output of this equation and put it into the input for degrees, and now we only have to enter the number of inches we want to travel, and we have the robot do all the calculations for us. But still, we had to write this equation every time and enter all this math. Wouldn't it be easier if we could just enter the inches? So there's a way to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to select these 2 blocks, and we're going to go to the Tools menu and build what's called a My Block. We'll use the My Block builder. It builds a special block that does what we have told it to do. So we'll call this My Block Move Inches. And we'll pick an icon for it. So let's pick the 2 motors from an icon. That's a good one. And we'd like to have a couple parameters that we could input to it. One is inches. So we'd like to have one parameter named inches. And it's an input, and it's a number, and we'll let it default to 0, because that way it won't do anything if we don't put a real value in there. And let's give it an icon. Well, there's a good icon for inches. It's a little measurement that says inches. And let's add another parameter, and we'll call this one power. Sometimes we might want to go 50% power. Sometimes we might want to go 75% power. Sometimes we might want to even go slower or faster. So we'll pick that one, but we'll pick a default value this time of 50%. And let's pick an icon for power. And let's use the same one they tend to use on the blocks that Lego makes. And we'll use that little dial. And we'll call it finished. So if we go back, so now we have where does the power go? We'll take the power and we'll put it into the power, power input on the move steering block. There we go. We'll take the inches, we'll put them as the A parameter in our math block. So now we have, this is the inside of our move inches my block, but what's it look like in a program? It does all this math, it does the power we asked for and the number of inches we asked for. And here's what it looks like in a my block. Now we have a my block called move inches. And if we go to this light blue palette here, there it is. There's our move inches my block. So that's handy for going forwards and backwards, because if we go forwards, we can make the power 50. If we want to go backwards, we can make the power minus 50. And now the block will move a number of inches in reverse. We'd also like to be able to steer. That's an important feature. And with the new robotics this year, we have a gyro sensor, which we'd like to use. So let's go to our program. We want to steer. So now let's say we want to move forward 10 inches, and then we want to turn right. So how would we turn right? We could use the gyro sensor, and what we would do was we pick the gyro sensor block here. First, we want to reset our gyro sensor. Before we start making measurements, we want to make sure it's set at 0. And then we want to put a move tank, move tank in. This laptop mouse, no fun. And we'd like, since let's say we're going to turn right, and we know our motor B is on the left side and motor C is on the right side, so we'll turn B and C, make B, let's say 50%, and C 0. And we're going to make this thing move just on. We're just going to turn it on, and we're going to stop when, let's go grab a weight loop. We're going to stop, go with the gyro sensor, compare, angle, when it's greater than or equal to, let's say 90 degrees. That would be a 90-degree turn. And then at that point, we'd like to stop our robot. So we'll take another move tank, put it at the end. And we're just going to off. That will stop our robot. So now our robot will go forward 10 inches and then turn right. But we can make this into a my block as well. So why don't we just do the same thing? We'll select those elements that we just put in, and we'll build a my block with the my block builder, and we'll call it turn right. That's simple enough. What do we put some sort of an icon on it? A steering icon would be nice. And then we'll add a parameter, and we'll call it degrees. And what kind of icon should we have for it? What would be good for degrees? Measure degrees Fahrenheit, that'd be okay. Let's just pick one. We'll pick, since it's a right turn, we'll pick a little right turn thing. And then we'd like to, again, why don't we select power as our other parameter. We'll call it power. And our icon, we'll pick the same one again. So now we have the power input. We know where that goes. Whoops. There's where that goes. And we have a number of degrees. That goes into the degrees. Whoops. So there's our my block. We go back to our program. We see now we have, let's get rid of this. We have, make a 90-degree turn, and we'll make it 50% power. Let's go forward 50. So now we have a simple program that'll go forward 10 inches and make a 90-degree turn to the right. Based on what I've just showed you, you should be able to make a turn left my block easily enough, and that should get you to do basic moving around the board, what you'll need to do just to get started. And if you have any questions, have your coaches give me a call, and we'll do what you want next time. Thank you.